Hello there. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for swinging by and seeing me. I thought today I would maybe start a bit of a series where we just chit-chat and perhaps I give you some tips to help you out if you need them, but also just feel free to listen to my voice and zone out. It's entirely fine. You don't have to dwell too much on the words. If just listening to my voice is soothing, then take from this what you will. So this little series, it's going to be Tea with Tree, and I have made one of my classic very large cups of tea just ready for it. So hopefully you're settled in. If you want to listen, we have a little. That's a decent cup of tea. It can be quite tricky with the big mugs. Like, it's pretty easy to make a decent cup of tea in a normal size mug, but your ratios, they go all wonky when you start going to funny sized mugs. Anyway, firstly I wanted to make clear I am not a professional in any way. Well, I mean wine, but that's not what we're talking about. Oh, and teacher, do you know what? I'm a teacher. I'm not actually a teacher, but I could have been. That's what my degree is in. But my point being that I'm going to talk about some personal stuff and just some tips and things that have helped me in my life. But they're not from a professional standpoint. It's just things that I have picked up throughout my life, and maybe I've absorbed bits from social media or listened to wise words from friends. And so that's where I am now. I sometimes have some pretty negative spots, and I'm very open about that on my streams, and it's something that I've got used to. I have had a fair amount of life experience. I've gone through some stuff that it would have been cool if I didn't go through some of those things, but also they lead you to where you are now, right? You have to try and look at the past and try and pull in the positives. And I don't mean toxic positivity it's so potentially, I don't know, dangerous. It's not a good thing at all, and I do not practice nor promote toxic positivity. I don't think there's anything to gain from saying something is wonderful and just kind of ignoring the fact that it's actually not. I think it's healthy to acknowledge when we're having a down period, when things are not going 100% right. But I do think it's important to try and focus on the things that actually are positive, if that makes sense. So not pretending that something is amazing, but looking for things that are. And so one of the things I wanted to share with you, you might do this already, but just in case you need it, and that is looking around whilst you're in a positive or neutral state and just thinking, what are the little things that bring me joy? What are the little things that make me happy? And write them down. Make a list. And I cannot remember where I first heard this advice. It was ages ago. And it was such a good idea. So for me, I think if you told me, or if I'd won £10,000, that would be amazing. But also, if someone knocked at my door right now with a dog, and it was like really excited to see me, and it had a waggy tail, and it was all like, both of those things would make me happy. Actually, the dog might make me slightly happier, but and so it doesn't matter how big the thing is that makes you happy, it still triggers that happiness. If anyone does have a dog, then feel free to let me know. Tell me about your dog, because dogs are awesome. I live in a tiny flat in London by myself, so no space for a dog. If I ever get to move out, I would love to move to somewhere more rural, somewhere with a garden where I can have lots of flowers to support bumblebees. But also, I need to rescue dogs. I need to give the good boys and good girls a welcoming, loving home. Yeah. Anyway, rescue dogs aside, the point being that it's still a positive thing. It still gives you that little bit of happiness. And it's really hard to try and find the happiness when you're in a low spot. And I know that. I really know that. And whenever I am in one of those spots, I just kind of keep my head down. I turtle and I tell myself, there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep pootling along, tree, just keep pootling, and you'll get out of this. But also, what I do sometimes to help give me those little hits of happiness is I go to my list. And the sorts of things that are on my list, and it can be just the tiniest of things, like honestly. So one of the things that's on my list is tea. I know, any excuse to jump in and have another sip of my tea. But not just having a cup of tea. The thing that's on my list is the ritual. The stopping everything else, just slowing down and just focusing on making that cup of tea. Not just doing it in between other things and bouncing around, just stopping and focusing on making a cup of tea. Standing there and waiting for it to, because you need to let it stew a little bit. You cannot have some sort of, like a tea bag is just whisked past, it needs to steep a little bit. But for me, I'm about to squeak. Okay, squeak has passed. I think I put pressure on myself to squeak and then I did not. But for me, the ritual of making tea it's just something I can step away from everything else that's going on and just focus on the tea. Let everything else drift away just for those few minutes. You don't need to constantly be looking for a state of happiness or just getting away from it. Just take the times now and again. Have some time for yourself. And yeah, so making a cup of tea, that is one of the things. And just the sound of the pouring of the water in. There's just something about it. And the gentle, rhythmic stirring. Just existing whilst your tea is coming together. And I know not everyone drinks tea, but maybe you've got something that you enjoy doing. Whether it is another thing I love doing, okay, another thing that's on my list, socks. Yes, socks, not the bedroom thing. Socks, as in I have a couple of pairs of really snugly thick socks, and when I slide my feet inside them, it just feels lovely. So one of the other things that is on my happy list is sitting on my bed with nothing else going on, just again taking a few minutes to myself, just letting my shoulders drop, and then putting my socks on very slowly, allowing myself to feel the sensation, the slight tickle, the comfort of those socks enveloping my tiny tootsies. So that's another really simple thing. another one. I've got this really nice smelling leave-in shampoo conditioner thing. Oh, it's not shampoo, it's got to be some sort of conditioner-y thing because it's leave-in. But it smells amazing. So another thing that is on my list is smelling my conditioner. And I appreciate I sound like an utter weirdo. And I am, I guess I am. And I am definitely a weirdo for telling you about this. But again, it's all about taking just a moment away. Just give yourself this tiny break from just everything that's getting on top of you. And I will sit there. I might just stand in the bathroom, or I might take it into my bedroom if I'm feeling, if I'm pushing the boat out. And again, just sit on my bed or just stand in the bathroom and just open it up. Just take a few deep breaths and just enjoy the smell. Let yourself indulge in these tiny little things that bring you joy, but do remember to make notes of them when they happen. Another thing, I haven't done this one recently because I think I've lost my pen, but another one was writing with my fountain pen. There's something very satisfying writing with my fountain pen, the sound of the scratching on the paper, and yeah, that was something else that brought me joy as well. And I'm not talking about it maybe in a trigger way, but just in a this is nice right now, this is a nice thing to do. So just keep an eye out in your life, and if doing something or experiencing something is giving you just a small hint of joy, then make a note of it. And when you are feeling really down, really low, maybe bring yourself to go to your list and say, okay, what's on my list? And it's not expected to make everything better, okay? It's not a magic fix. What it is something that will make things maybe a little bit less poop. Maybe a little better for you. It's not a magic cure, but hopefully it will just remind you that there are positive things in the world, and when you're feeling low, you might not be feeling that. You might just think that there's no end to it, but there are these tiny little positives to be found in various places. So when you are feeling alright and you see those positives, make a note of them. Try it. Let me know if that works at all for you. At the very least, maybe it will help you appreciate some of the small things. If it doesn't help when you're in a bit of a rut, in a bit of a low point, it might at least help you appreciate the lovely things that are around you. And dogs, remember, poop the snoots of the dogs. I'm allergic to cats, so as cute as cats are, it's not that I don't like cats. I'm just a bit allergic to them. And dogs are so loyal. I really, I resonate with that loyalty. And yeah, so if you're ever feeling down and you're a dog person, I have been tempted to message my neighbourhood group. We've got a WhatsApp group. I was tempted to message them a couple of weeks ago and say, look, does anyone want to meet me in the courtyard with their dog? Because I really I want to pet a dog. That would make me really happy right now. I almost did it. I was not quite brave enough. I didn't want to look that weird, but I still might do that at some point, because it is important to find the positives where you can, to know the things that bring you joy and the harmless things that bring you joy, the things that don't have negative consequences. So that's just what I wanted to talk to you in today's Tea with Tree about, and I hope you're doing all right. You've got this. Whatever it is, you've got this. Alright? And I hope to see you again, maybe in some of my other videos. Hang out with me if you'd like, my darlings. And remember to have a delightful day, a wonderful week, and the snuggliest of sleeps when it is time to go to bed.